Well, hello everybody. This is Brian O'Haron speaking. This is Financial Winsted. Number 9. You will see an email address up on the screen tonight. Write it down because you may need it if you want me to send you a copy of the spreadsheet and pipeline that we will be releasing on October 3rd. Send us a note and we'll send you the spreadsheet and pipeline. I am still in the process of handing out the spreadsheet and pipeline to MBAs in the area, financial people in the area that will understand the spreadsheets and the comments and be able to feedback on them, and other leaders, some in this town, some in other towns, trying to get feedback that is meaningful. So far, people seem impressed with Patrick's work once again. Like I'll be able to get a bit more feedback in this week and then send the spreadsheet and the feedback and Patrick's comments out very widely to all members of committees, commissions, boards, etc. in our town and others. I'll also send out the feedback. When I send the feedback, I don't put names to protect the senders and to be able to try to get information possible from them. So you'll be able to read the feedback, but you won't know who sent it in. And then it can be contemplated by those who understand financial management and can possibly do something about it. Now, once again, I want to tell you a little bit about why we do the spreadsheet. Everybody asks me, including leaders of the town, why are you doing this spreadsheet? We already have audits. I say, I know, but you need the spreadsheet because you don't have a public pipeline that shows what the revenue and the expenses will be over the next 3 to 5 years, or 1 to 3 years, as in this case. So it's very, very hard to determine it. Now, in the Harvard Business School approach, you would review this and spreadsheet and you would extrapolate from the past, eliminating any major inconsistencies like the stealing from the town and the mismanagement of the money in the schools that we find, that kind of thing. And quarterly, we would look at it, and based upon any information that you have about incoming revenue or incoming expenses that are different than the assumptions you made in the spreadsheet, then you can update the forecast. You can take action. You can take management action to either cut spending or run faster to get more profitable recurring revenue into the town. I now say advantageous recurring revenue because profit is a dirty word in Winsted. But I'm told by some leaders, and they're very good leaders, that we do know we need this increase in the advantageous recurring grantless revenue if we are to be able to pay for all the expenses that we know we have coming down the pike. For example, paying for the infrastructure repairs. That could include many, many things like water and sewer lines as well as roads and bridges, building repair, etc., etc. Plus, we need the ability to deal with any changes in revenue supplied by the state or the feds. There's all kinds of reasons now why we need to be on top of our financial management. The feedback I've got so far from a couple people I've sent the spreadsheet out to has been good, but it does point out there's lots of room for improvement in the way the town is financially managed. Now, the spreadsheet that I'm sending out, Patrick's spreadsheet and pipeline, is unofficial. It's just a resident of the town and his son trying to alert people that we need to pay more attention to the financial management of this town. We need to grow the grand list. We need to manage the expenditures. And there needs to be balance across all town facilities, organizations, etc. And as you know, schools are now about 65% of our budget, maybe a little less. That's not too helpful for us. It takes almost all of our tax money that we raise just to fund the schools. Now, of course, we do get the money from the state and the feds, so we do have some money to spend on other things from year to year. Well, anyway, that's the reason for this pipeline, extrapolating revenue and expenses for the next 3 years for comment. I don't expect the town will ever produce these things on their own because we're run by politicians, and politicians don't want anybody to know what the objectives are because then they might have to meet them, and if they don't, they may not win the next election. So the next election is always paramount for these politicians. And since most people in town are not financially astute, then they don't dwell on finances. They'd rather tell you that everything's getting better, everything's improving, we just opened up this little business, or we just set up another art place, or we just cleaned up a street, or we just planted some new flowers, and the town is doing wonderfully. Well, financially, that is still not the case, and may never be, for all I know, with the things that are happening at the federal, state, and local level. But anyway, we've got it. I'm sending it out. It will be distributed widely once I get all the feedback in, and then I won't do any more programs until perhaps next year, if I'm still here, and if it looks like it's worthwhile doing. But remember now, Tony Mishikowski, 20-year representative from Torrington, he was a Democrat, but he thought like a conservative. He was a conservative Democrat. Always told me, when I worked for him at Tony's Drive-In during my high school years, that it takes 15 to 20 years to get anything done in government. Time will tell if we're on our way or not. We've got a few good, very good financial leaders in town now that know a lot about business, finance, financial management. But we also have a weak finance board and a lot of people who realize we need more revenue and we need to grow the advantageous portion of the grand list, but they don't know how to do it, and they don't understand the language. They don't speak financial. They speak political. You put them in there, you should pay more attention to what they're doing, and the next time, put in people that know more about financial management and can do more to help our town, city, and lake. I have set up a new email address for this particular spreadsheet and pipeline effort. If you send an email to this address, I will respond to you with a copy of the spreadsheet and the pipeline. That was not put together by the town, put together by my son Patrick, who has an MBA with honors from one of the better universities in the country and is a successful practicing businessman. I'll send it to you. It's hard to display spreadsheets and discuss spreadsheets on television programs. I may make an attempt, and I may not. I've done it before, and didn't go over too well. People don't understand it. They turn the TV off as soon as they see it's a financial program anyway. Most of them don't get this far into the program. So we're talking to the very few people in town who do understand finance and may be able to pass some of their knowledge on to the average person who is not as financially astute as perhaps they should be. I wanted to distribute this to all the commission members, committee members, and board members in our town, as well as the more wide distributions to the newspapers, etc. But I find that it's very difficult now to reach them by email because they've taken their email addresses off of the website, which used to be on there a year or so ago. But I'll find a way to get it out to everybody, even if I have to attend the meetings and hand it out during public comment. I'll put it out publicly on the 3rd of October in the evening, and then we may see you again when the 15-16 audit is complete. And then again, maybe I won't. Good night. Brian O'Hearn, Financial Winsted. Number 9. Thanks again, Patrick, for volunteering and spending the time to do this work for the benefit, possible benefit, of our town. Thanks again. And thanks to all the MBAs and business leaders in the area and elsewhere for helping me get the feedback for Pat that I will send along without their names when I distribute the spreadsheet and extrapolation right after dinner of revenue and expense for the next 3 years. Maybe next year we'll do 5 years on the extrapolation. Hope it does some good, but I wouldn't bet on it. We all know that Winsted is full of surprises. Anything can happen here, and probably will. That we'll catch in the quarterly reports. Of course, our next exercise will be to finish this audit, the 15-16 audit. They say it's on schedule for the end of the year when it's due to the state. That'll be interesting. And we can watch it quarter by quarter, as they do in the Harvard Business School system, and see how we're doing. And decisions can be made as we go from quarter to quarter. That will keep us within budget, on schedule, and allow us to really manage properly and try to predict our pipeline properly in the future. A lot less guessing than we hope. Send us your address. We'll send you the spreadsheet and pipeline, and then you can give us any feedback you want, especially if you find any inaccuracies or have any good ideas. Thank you and good night.